Let's do this. Good morning, subscribers, followers, listeners, people checking in. We are so grateful to have you with us today. My name is Lauren, co-owner of RW Business Solutions, 200 plus hour yoga instructor, sound healer, Reiki 2, business coach, future president, just an array of different things. Here to give you our midweek mindfulness with Lindsey, my co-host. Lindsey, you want to go ahead and just open up with yourself real quick?
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I'm Lindsey Warwick, Lindsey Warwick Yoga and Healing. I'm a 500 plus hour yoga teacher. I've studied some shamanic healing methods, I'm a Reiki master, as well as an advanced level integrated energy therapy practitioner. All of the things. Also have a podcast called The Conduit with Lindsey Warwick. So check that out. Currently doing a spiritual interview series, and just happy to share mindfulness with Lauren this week with you all. Hello.
So if you're just tuning in, every Wednesday, Lindsey and I go through this daily devotional called Journey to the Heart. I ran into it when I was teaching yoga in Myrtle Beach, and just one of the excerpts that the instructor had read during class really just sat right with the day. You know, it always seems to be perfect for every week, even like it seems to be perfect for whatever we're going through. And so we just get on, we read to you, and we just talk about our experience with this or our perspectives on it. And we just, again, like I always say, we hope to give you motivation, love, and support to keep your week going in a positive direction. So I'm going to start off with the read today. January 26th, see life through the eyes of your soul. Once, many, many years ago, I woke up in the middle of the night, only I wasn't in bed sleeping. I was on the ceiling looking down at my body laying on the bed. I studied myself, a little surprised at how unusual I looked from the outside. The next thing I knew, I was back in bed. My soul reconnected with my body. That experience was the beginning of a journey that led me to understand I was more than my body. I had a soul. I was about to embark on a path that would consciously connect me to that soul, experience on the path to freeing my soul. Throughout my life, I have not had many conscious desires and expectations about my life. I wanted this. I wanted that. I wanted my life to be arranged just so. What I understood over time is that the journey I'm taking is not based on arranging my life in a particular way and keeping it just so. The journey I've been on and what I've been seeking has been the journey of my soul. Much in life can cause us distress and discomfort when we look with our conscious mind. But if we look beyond what we can see on the surface, we'll begin to see with the eyes of the soul. The lessons run deep. Often they take time to learn. We learn about power. We learn about love, courage, faith, saying goodbye, embracing deep love for ourselves. Learn to see life with the eyes of your soul. Experience all the emotions that are there. Discover your truth. Seek conscious peace as much as you can, and seek peace in your soul as well. Let your soul lead you through the meadows and take you down deep into the valleys, for all your experiences are just that, experiences on this mysterious journey of the soul. I think what really stood out for me was just the fact that you don't have to necessarily plan your life. You can have goals and stuff, but your life is ultimately going to pull you in the direction you're meant to be in. I know, from back in the day going to college for aerospace, I'm not doing aerospace today, right? So even if we have a plan, if it's not in alignment for our soul, it's not going to work out. And so it's not that you failed, and it's not that you didn't do good enough. It's just that that wasn't meant to be. And so I think for me, like, just that whole excerpt was more like, you know, you don't have to set the plan. The plan is there, and everything will move you in the direction to be there. I needed that experience of going to college for aerospace and doing all the things, you know, working with NASA, working with Ron Paul, running political clubs, you know, like doing all those things in college to bring me to where I was today. And so it's never a loss when we don't follow through on a plan. It's actually in the plan to not follow through and to lead us to where we were. So that's kind of like really what really jumped out for me through the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things just popped up in my head while you were talking. So the first part of this, it's like I woke up in the middle of the night and I wasn't sleeping. I was looking at my body. Immediately I started thinking of astral projection.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, that's been definitely something that I've been able to do. And like in meditations, I find myself, and during sound healings now, I've found myself jumping timelines or going and revisiting memories. It's so interesting. And so I love seeing life through the eyes of your soul. I feel like that's kind of just how I view my life now, but it wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
And I like your reference to college. I started thinking about my own experience with college, where did you go to college?
Just
Lauren?
community college, Anne Arundel
Where?
Community
In
College.
Maryland?
Yep, in Maryland. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went to college in Maryland as well. I went to Towson, and I went to school for mass communication, which I guess I'm sort of still utilizing those skills, but I had some significant life experience there, difficult life experience there that definitely set me on my spiritual journey, and also found yoga there, which is like not why I went there. You know what I mean? So yeah, it always, it all works out. I think that, you know, the soul, it's basically your map, like your guide to this life. But yeah, I love this reading. You know, talking about having many conscious desires and expectations and wanting things and wanting that. I know that we've talked about this before, but just kind of like letting things go and just letting life happen for you instead of, you know, I used to ask for all these things as well. And when things didn't go my way, you know, I wasn't necessarily thrilled. Now it's like, I'll put it out there and just kind of release the expectation.
Yeah. So in the I co-own with Leah that Women in Business group, and we had put, you know, a topic up for content creation, and one of the girls had talked about her dislike for social media, and so many people dislike it, but ultimately her and I sat down and had a conversation and ended up using it as my business podcast for Monday, because it just felt really aligned. And coming back to this and what you were saying about the expectations, you know, we talked about leaving the expectations at the door. You know, you can plan, but don't expect. In this life, nothing is certain other than death. That is the only thing we actually know of this life.
When
And
you say that, I'm like, but like, it's so true.
nobody loves that concept, but guess what? It is the ultimate truth. It is the one thing we know without a doubt happens. We transition. We call it death, but ultimately we transition. And so that's the only thing you can expect out of life is that. And honestly, you know, you can have expectations for a good life. There's nothing wrong with that, because ultimately that's positive thinking, that's keeping you moving. So you can hope, I would say, rather than expect. And expectations just do, you know, hurt us in the long run. So it's very important to just be aware that, you know, have a plan, but be flexible in the plan. And I know for me, like this whole like see life through the eyes of your soul, my whole concept of like life lately, especially the last like 2 years, maybe like year and a half, it's just like the term soul satisfied. And that's been so big for me. Like, I'm always like, is my soul satisfied? It's not, is Lauren, the being of Lauren so satisfied? It's my soul. And so I'm constantly, trying to find things that satisfy my soul, trying to find things that challenge my soul to satisfy my soul's progression. And so I think it's really important to start using that terminology a little bit more. Am I feeling soul satisfied? Am I doing enough to make my soul happy, which in turn is going to make my whole being happy. And so I love just the concept of seeing life through your soul, because when you start living life through your soul, it's just a whole different kind of thing. It really is, when you are working to satisfy that energy.
Yeah, that whole idea of expectations too. It's kind of like I heard it somewhere. It's like expectations are just resentments, like waiting to happen. Because if things don't go exactly how you're expecting them to go,
Right.
then you're going to be upset. You're going to be let down. So I try not to have expectations, but I feel like you and I could totally go down the rabbit hole right now on, okay, we don't have expectations, but we do want to have healthy boundaries. Because
Yeah.
if we don't have any expectations or any type of structure or standard, then everything is just like your energy is just spilling out everywhere, and then you're not having boundaries. So it's just an interesting concept, right? I feel like you could totally go down the rabbit hole on so many different subjects.
Well,
But
and
I
you're right.
love,
You're right. The not having expectations, but having boundaries. And that takes like knowing your soul. And that takes
yeah.
being deeply connected to your being to stand up for yourself as well, So I love that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, as I was getting ready this morning, I was listening to this song, and it's like she sings over and over, like, I release control. And it's talking about surrender. And this quote right here, it's like, what I've understood over time is that the journey I'm taking is not one based on arranging my life in a particular way, then keeping it just so. And it's just like all about releasing control and just allowing. And, you know, I certainly did not see myself where I am today on January 26th of 2022 with some of the different life circumstances that I'm dealing with. But I just keep having faith and trust in my own soul, like that your soul knows the way. I think I like posted this thing the other day. It's literally like, I'm going to pull it up just because I thought it was very profound but simple. Your soul knows exactly what it's doing. It's just your human that gets in the way. And I think it's just your ego gets in the way. Like, that's not what's supposed to be happening. Like, I'm 34, for example, and I'm currently not married and I don't have any children. And it's like, sometimes my ego is like, well, why? But my soul already knows why. And my soul already can see what's coming for me. And so just having faith and trust in that.
No, I love that. That's beautiful. Was looking here at the experience all emotions that are there. And I think so many of us I know from personal experience that through the years of not being able to lean on anyone when I need support, or feeling like I don't have anyone to trust because of people dick you over, or like putting those guards up. I know from personal experience that like I turned the emotions off and I stopped allowing myself to feel for safety. And in the long run, it turned me into a robot. It turned me into a robot. And there was just like no empathy. And there was just, it's like I could care, but at the same time, I could care less. And so it's a weird space to be in. And so I meet a lot of people these days who are like, I don't want to feel right now, or I've turned myself off emotionally, or I'm not emotionally stable. And I just remind them to feel into those things because your feelings are extremely important. They're going to teach you just as much of a lesson, and they're going to keep you feeling normal. You know, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. It is okay to feel. And I think for me, seeing that was just a gentle reminder, you know, with everything I have going on in life, sometimes I just don't want to. But the more I feel into it, the more I can release and be in a constant state of flow in life. And so it's extremely, that one is like one I talk to people about a lot because I was really badly shut down. And you could just see it in my interactions. You could just see it in my face, even sometimes, just kind of like, no, nope, not going there today. You're crying. I'm not paying attention to that. Lindsey. But you know what I mean? It's very weird to be on that spectrum where most people feel a lot and want to feel, to like being someone who doesn't want to feel and spend a lot of her time not being in her emotions. And when I decided to open up to that, I did an ayahuasca journey recently, and I was just like, I'm just going to open myself back up, you know, and I have, and it's been really amazing to catch back up with those feelings. I didn't get flooded right away with a whole bunch of feelings and like overwhelmed. It just, I've naturally let go, and I've had moments where I've allowed myself to cry and experience the discomfort I'm feeling in life. And so I just want to encourage people, like, you know, don't have, you know, keep boundaries, don't have too high of expectations, allow yourself to feel into the moments of discomfort, of happiness. And so, yeah, that was really important for me as a reminder, because I'm one of those people who will just cut it off.
Right. And like for me, it's been sometimes the opposite. Like I think earlier in my life, I did a lot of like numbing with like substances, like just over partying and not wanting to feel and not wanting to embrace my intuitive gifts because it scared me. So numbing out. And then for me, it's also like, how do I not become paralyzed by the feelings sometimes? And even though I don't feel like doing something, like I have to like bring the body and then the mind will follow. Like if I'm not feeling happy, or if there's some, you know, like much in life can cause distress and discomfort when we look with the conscious mind. Like if I'm thinking about something too much, I need to like get out and do something. Like I need to like go do yoga. I need to go walk my dog. Like I need to literally just shake it out. You know, we're the only animal on the planet that doesn't naturally just shake off trauma. Like, so I have to definitely move my body. But for me, it's like changing the story behind the feelings too.
Mhm.
Like it's more of a redirecting for me because like, you know, I have had anxiety and depression in the past, like debilitating anxiety and debilitating depression, because I've let my feelings like overcome me. So now it's more managing those, and also like just being more conscious about what I do give my attention to as far as like what I'm feeling. And then it's like, you know, just studying a lot of Abraham Hicks right now, moving into what feels good and getting into my vortex. So if I have a thought right, I feel like the thought starts the feelings. If I have a thought that's making me feel like shit, then it's like I have to change this thought pattern and look at it differently. And know that even though sometimes things are really fucked up and hard, that trying to always have faith in the bigger picture, that like my soul has my back, my higher self has my back, and that it's going to be like the best for my highest self, whatever's happening.
Absolutely. And we know that, you know, we know in the discomfort, in the chaos, it's actually a clearing state. It's doing the deep work to make our lives better, to make us better people, better humans, better spiritual people, better teachers, better students. It's just uncomfortable. And that feeling into it is so vital. And I couldn't agree with you more. And I really was moving into that whole back piece, discover your truth, seek conscious peace as much as you can, seek peace in your soul as well. I think like this last month has been really challenging. It's always challenging. My little brother died when I was a kid, and his birthday just passed. And it is one of the hardest months every year of my life. The whole month is usually a shit show. And I don't understand why. And this month was no different. And it taught me to really seek peace in whatever way I could, whether it's sitting by myself for hours, crying for hours, talking to my brother. It's always such a hard month. And so whenever this month gets ready to come, I'm always hopeful. I have no expectation. I'm always hopeful that it's going to be a good month. Sadly, I'm always shown that it's not going to be the best month, but at the same time, it is a good month because every year I'm learning something new about myself, and I'm seeing ways that I've grown. It doesn't stop that I'm like hurting so bad from that still, but ultimately I've learned to, like you said, go move the body, like find something that will soothe my soul to offset the trauma and the pain that I still deal with. And so I think it's really important to, in moments of chaos or in moments of sadness, just breathe, take a moment to pause and to find whatever peace you can, and really just be there to support yourself through the struggles. And we are all we have. And in this life, we have people around us, right? We have our friends, we have our families, we have our seasonal people, but ultimately the only person you truly have your whole life is yourself. And so cultivating a loving relationship with yourself to get you through these struggles, to get you through these hard times, to help you create peace in the chaos is extremely important. And so this month, I just noticed that I really cultivated as much peace as I possibly could through this hardness of the month. So
I'm so sorry that you're having a hard month. I didn't know that about you.
that's okay. I'm not one for sharing because people have their own shit going on. You know what I mean? And I've been dealing with this for my whole since I was 14. My family didn't put us in counseling when that happened. So it was just kind of figuring it out on your own. And I figured it out, but it doesn't make it any easier. So it's okay though. It's okay.
It is okay. And it's okay to share as well. Like everyone does have things going on, but it's important to find those people that you can share and have a safe space with, so you can process things. Also, you mentioned counseling, huge proponent, huge believer in therapy and counseling as well.
Yeah.
But life would not be life if everything was easy.
Yeah.
What would be the point? What would be the point if we were all the same? What would be the point if everything was easy? Honestly, the hardest times of my life, which I'm definitely going through one of those right now, just with a lot of things. And those times for me have really alchemized me, changed me for the better. I feel like these tough times are launch pads for us to kind of reach out and get closer to our higher power or God, source, goddess, whatever you call it. And then also your higher self is asking you how you want to process the lesson. Do you need to have the lesson again? Or are you ready to go to the next level? Which I kind of talked about that on my podcast this week, about sometimes I view life like a video game. I mean, not really, but it's each aspect of life is a different level, and you will keep attracting the same scenario, just different bodies, until your soul masters the level. And so all of the lessons run deep. and we learn about all of the things through life. Like life is, it's like the game of life, literally. It's like our soul is learning all these things. And it's definitely more graceful, I think, when you can see life through the eyes of your soul. Definitely experience all the emotions. Like I'm one that's like, feel your feelings, cry it out, do the things, just don't get stuck there. Like don't get stuck in those stories that keep you sad. Discover your truth. Seek conscious peace as much as you can. I used to like want to always be right, like always. And a couple of years back, I realized that like I had this brilliant woman say to me once, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And I'll always choose happiness over having to be right anymore. Peace is of utmost importance to me. But yeah, I love this last line. It's let your soul lead you through the meadows and take you down deep into the valleys. For all your experiences are just that, experiences on this mysterious journey of the soul. So it's mysterious from the sense of the conscious mind, but the soul knows the way. So it's like, yeah, it's just so, I love this book so much. Like I'm so glad that you asked me to be a part of this, because I know Melody Beattie from her codependency books, but I did not know about this. And like, I just love every entry. I've been reading it every day since the beginning of this year. And every day it's just like, it's just so beautiful. Like and it's just so aligned too. Every day it's aligned and it's so deep. And I mean, people who know me the best, like, no, like I'm not surface level, like at all. It's like, I'm always going deep. So I love that we're having these conversations on a weekly basis. And I'm really hoping that listeners or viewers, however people are consuming our information, are getting something out of it too.
For sure. And it's been such a motivational thing, it's additional support. And then like you said, like the talking about it has been so helpful because, we're able to even work through things that we're going through, right? Like I opened up about my brother. And so that's me having a space to release and then give other people hope to move through the same issues that I'm moving through, and to know that you're not alone. And I think that's what's always pushed me, is that through all my struggles and like everything I've ever been through, I know I'm not the only person who's experienced these things. And that doesn't diminish or, make it any less. But it's just comforting knowing that, there are other people who suffer and struggle. And, we all just want to feel loved and supported. And so I love that we have this to give people that love and support. I was, going back in, and much of life can cause us distress and discomfort when we look with our conscious mind. And I think it's really important to start really listening to yourself, listening to that inner voice, not the first voice that jumps out, because that's usually kind of the ego, ready to answer, ready to be in charge. I always like to sit before or think before I speak, kind of, so to say. So even when I am, so to say, thinking about the discomfort and distress in my life, the ego will want to be like, yeah, this sucks. Yeah, whatever, man, why me? Right. But ultimately, I'll kind of be like, okay, chill, bro. We know it's not woe's me. Okay. We know it's a lesson. So I really just love that, it's our conscious mind that goes to, oh, this sucks. Why me? Why the victim mentality? But if you take a moment and pause and sit with the emotions, your subconscious mind comes through and gives you that guidance and support and love. And so just remember to take a moment, when you're going through the discomfort, and not to just shut down, not to just go straight to the negative thought process, we talked about this, was it last week maybe? We're a few deep now, but I had said something around like learning to control that chatter, learning to cut yourself off when you're going down the rabbit hole. And
Your cat.
learning to cut yourself off before you go too deep down that negative rabbit hole. And so like I've said it before, it's like, sorry, why are you thinking like this today? What is it that's bothering you? And just kind of like being my own friend and being my own teammate rather than aiding in my like destructive patterns. So I love think with the subconscious, think with the spiritual mind, think with a moment in between the stress, pause between the stress and discomfort. That's a big one for me. I don't even like to argue with people. I like to really think before I speak. And so even with myself, I really think before I like speak. So.
Yeah, the inner talk that you have with yourself. And it's like, if we look at things from a conscious mind, we're like, this shit really sucks, like hard experiences. But oftentimes, like they say, like hindsight is 2020. And it's like, if I look back on like the most difficult times of my life, it's like, whoa, those really rocketed me into like a new dimension of existence. Like they really shifted me into they literally got me closer to who I really am.
Yeah.
However, that is a choice because we have free will. So I also, when I think, like, this is just something I'll share, like I always see people's higher selves and it gets me in trouble. So it's like, even though I try to choose integrity and good, even if I fuck up, like not everybody does that. And I need to like have acceptance in that as well. But it's like, yeah, like you have free will to choose like the next steps of your life, like wherever you're at, you have the choice to change, learn, evolve, or stay the same, continue the cycle of bullshit or whatever you're bringing onto yourself until you decide to level the F up, So it's like, life is so like beautiful in that way. I think that you can just do that
Absolutely.
You can choose.
Absolutely. And there's the saying that, life is always working for you.
Yes, so, I love that.
Me too. I feel like it's really a mantra for me when the shit hits the fan. It's like, girl, it's working for you. It is.
That's what I'm trying to believe right now.
It's working for you, I promise. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yes. We're both like, oh.
I love it. Because it has become one of the biggest ones. Like when it's a hot mess, I'm like, oh, this is meant to be. This is great. It is great.
And I'm not saying like, oh, everyone should enjoy their suffering. Like, fuck that. It's hard. Life is hard. It's hard to be in this meat sack. It's hard to be a human. We're spiritual beings having human experience. It's like, our soul knows the way. Our soul knows what we signed up for. Our soul knows like about our different, contracts that we have with other people. But it's like when we come into this body and like, it's like we have a forgettery, like we forgot like where we really came from. I also think every experience in life, it's going to help you either lead towards opening your heart and being more in a love space, or you can go towards the dark side. Like literally, like, I don't know, like there's tons of movies and legends and all kinds of shit out there about like the dark side versus the light side. Right now I'm thinking of Star Wars to be specific, but you know what I'm saying? It's like
there is, and there's the balance, you have to go through the dark to get to the light. The lotus flower grows through mud and muck and darkness, and so we're all really like little lotus flowers, but there are some people who get stuck on the dark side and they aren't able to conquer that, and I think that's part of their life's mission, is to experience that darkness. And it's sad and it sucks that they don't ever get out. but whatever this life is, it gives them the option and opportunities to get out of it, and they do make that choice to stay. And it's a weird concept, the darkness, because it does a good job of keeping you there and manipulating your mind to thinking this is where you're going to be stuck. This is where you're going to be for a long time. Get used to it. And sometimes you're in that. I know this whole month has been a shit show in my life, like just personally. And so it's just, it's like, it's been a whole month of it, but the last few days, some really positive things have happened. And so if you just hold on and you just keep trying to go and you just try to stay somewhat positive and motivated, it will turn. And it's like I think I said it last week with us. It was like, I'm going through so much, but I feel like it's like a karmic clearing right now, sweeping it out. And then the rest of the year is going to be not necessarily smooth sailing, but a lot smoother than it is right now.
Well, be careful with that expectation, girl.
But yeah.
I feel like when you're in the shit or you're like buried in your stuff, it's when you get your fucking shovel out and you get yourself out of it. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess some people's soul contracts are to just stir shit up and be dark. I just have to have acceptance of that, like, even though I can see everyone's higher self, it's like not everybody is going to choose the light. Not everyone is going to choose the right thing. And that's when namaste and on my way. You know what I'm saying? Just gotta recognize it, accept it, even if I don't like it, and then keep it moving. But I love this whole reading today. It's like, this is your journey, your soul's journey. We all have unique souls. Like, so honoring wherever you are in your journey and trying to see it from a higher loving perspective.
Yeah, I want to touch back on what you were saying, like seeing people for their highest good. I had seen a quote a while ago, and it was like, you can't be in love with who you think they could be. You can't be in love with people for their potential. You have to be in love with people for who they are.
What they are now.
Yeah, that's a big one for me, like moving into, trying to find a decent, a healthy, committed relationship, is that concept of, finding, not being in love with someone's potential, being in love with who they're showing me right in this present moment. And so I just wanted to touch back on that, because that's been a big lesson. That's a big lesson for anybody in relationships,
any type of relationship too. Business relationship, friendship, romantic relationship. And I touched on this during the podcast this week with Sunny Pakanen about the eternal present moment, like, is really all we have, like literally, like right now. So it's like, yeah, that potential gets me in trouble too in certain relationships. Well, yeah. And then just seeing through the bullshit, listening to your soul and listening to how your body is reacting to situations as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to touch back on that, because like that really resonated with that whole concept. And it's something that I really try to keep in mind with people. And it goes back to, like you were saying, is like seeing through the eyes of your soul and the truths within your soul that tell you, like, these aren't good relationships to be in. Like you said, whether they're friendship based, intimacy, like, doesn't matter, family based, can't rely on the potential, have to acknowledge where they're at in the present moment. And that's by seeing with the eyes of your soul and listening to that inner intuition. And like you said, how your body responds and reacts and all of that as well. So I just want to.
And then also, like, lovingly maintaining a boundary, and then try to do that without judgment. It's hard, especially when people really hurt you. And then it's like stepping back and seeing where they're at.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, And then if you go back for more, which I've done this several times, oh, well, maybe they'll be different this time. Oh, but he said that he wouldn't be like that this time. And it's like going against your own inner being. And then you're like battling yourself. We could talk for hours, Lauren.
No, being a human being is such a challenging thing to be. And there's so many, so much. I just don't, it's just
There's
so
so
many
much.
things.
I feel like you and I could literally talk for hours, like about just life and everything. But
Here we are.
wherever you are on the journey of your soul, blessings. And this isn't all about hard times. Like, enjoy the good times, enjoy the joy, like lean in towards the joy. Be present as much as you can in the joy,
and express so much
I really believe
and express so much gratitude when you're in that state.
Yes, gratitude. It's all about gratitude as well. But I love this entry today, you know. See life through the eyes of your soul, January 26th. Loving our conversations. Yeah. I guess everybody has like a beautiful day today. If you want to connect with me, it's Linzala Yoga, LINZALA Yoga on Instagram. And that's also, it's www.linzalayoga.com. I offer Reiki, energy work, cards, yoga, or connect with me if you're in Myrtle Beach. Come take a yoga class with me. Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, me too. I'm Lauren with RW Business Solutions on Instagram, or Calloway for President on Instagram. If you want social media management, marketing, website design, you can reach out to me on either one of those pages and we can chat. And just so grateful to have this moment of peace and feeling into so much gratitude and so much positive release, you know, of any stress. And we're just here to, like always, it's kind of the tagline, give you that midweek motivation and love and support and to keep you going through the rest of your week. So we appreciate you guys, and we will be back in action next Wednesday morning.
Have a great week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.